How are we doing, guys? Moose here, Season 2, Episode 1 of our West Ham United career mode. So we're into Season 2 now, and obviously I started a new season, but because of the whole World Cup thing, it's tough to show you all the little things in between, right before the season started. Obviously, the only real things of note that happened were that we released a couple of players. Obviously, Ricardo Vazte, UC Escalante, George McCartney, and Joe Cole did not re-sign with the club. So with that said, we also got a couple notes on, from the board with our season review. So we got our domestic cup performance. Obviously, we won the Capital One Cup, so that really did everything for us. Excellent showing there. Congratulations to the players. So really good in the cup. We also got super season as we finished in 7th in the league, which is mid-table, but did actually win us a EuroLeague place because of our cup performance. So we will be playing in the Europa League next season. From this, we get our budget, £12.5 million. Really disappointed with that. So we're going to have to ask him the board for a bit more, I'm sure, at some point. We only got $60,000 in the wage budget. So if we punch the wage budget up a little bit to maybe $100K, we're probably going to be about $10 million for the transfer budget. So we may have to make a couple sales and see what we can do to try and bump that up a little bit. Domestic Cup objective. The board would love a quarterfinal run, which I think is definitely achievable. We'd love to win the cup again. Obviously, it's a great feeling to be able to bring home some silverware, so that's huge for us. We also get our EuroLeague objective, and they want us to win the Europa League, which they want us to reach the quarterfinals of our domestic cup, but in a big European tournament, they want us to win the entire thing. So I think that's going to be really tough to do. Obviously, we're going to hope to achieve our objectives and everything else, rather than focus on the Europa League. It's something that we'll toss some players in, maybe get them some experience and see how we can do. But we also get a pre-contract player arrival. Clement Grenier obviously is coming from Olympique Lyon, which is huge for us and someone we're really going to count on to help carry the team. So that's all the message we have here. Now we're going to get into the squad report, guys, so we'll check that one out. Alright, guys, so now that we've checked out the budget for next season and the goals that the board have set for us, we're going to take a look at the squad, take a look at a minor shortlist that I prepared just to gauge what you guys think we should do, the direction that I'm looking to bring in, the players that I think we need to bring into the club based on our positional needs, as well as the philosophy we're trying to play here, which a little refresher. We're going about a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-2-1, which does seem to feature the use of either Andy Carroll up front, a single striker, or in our 4-2 or 4-3-2-1 we feature Lacazette kind of playing off of Andy Carroll as like a second striker, with Jarvis also featuring, and they're sort of an attacking trio almost. But when we play 4-2-3-1, it's more of Jarvis on the left. We use someone like Ravel Morrison or Lacazette on the right. With an attacking midfield, we actually had Clement Grenier obviously coming to the team, playing that attacking midfield role, whereas in the 4-3-2-1 he'd sort of feature in a little bit forward of midfield, with Bradley in a holding role and playing alongside maybe Morrison or Noble, depending on who's in form at that moment in time. But we're going to look at the team right now, and obviously goalkeeper we're set with Adrian. He's been fantastic for us. 79 overall, approached by Real Sociedad, so we're going to have to fight them off, but take a look at him. He's a fantastic player. Obviously, we're going to go through the squad. Feel free to pause and take a look at different players' ratings if you want to stop it. But one area we could look to address is a backup goalkeeper, but I'm not going to look to spend more than $600,000 or so. Maybe a Schmeichel. I know Schmeichel's on our short list. He's fantastic, but something like that, just a low cost. It's better than Henderson. Just give us a second option should we need it. Right back, obviously, we have Guy Demel, whose stats are going down now, which is a shame. Obviously, we'll have to stick with him or Spence as our backup right back. Just with funding-wise, obviously, we only got $12.5 million, which is really disappointing, especially when I wanted to bring in a scout. So this is going to be tough to figure out what we want to do here. But obviously, we have Demel. Trippier's fantastic. He's only going to get better. He's 23, 74 overall. He's already gone up +1, and we haven't even started the season yet. So that's fantastic to see. Hopefully, he'll continue to grow and be our first choice right back. Obviously, we have Jordan Spence as well, 68 overall. Not terrible. Definitely not Premier League quality. So would love to bring in another right back to fight with Trippier, but obviously you let him be the starter, and we'll just let DeMel be the backup at this point in time. Obviously, with Winston Reed, just signed a new contract. He did sign that deal, obviously, that we had discussed in the last episode. He actually did sign it. The message must have just popped up and gone away. It was in the player conversations, and I lost it. But Winston Reed, 78 overall. He's fantastic, partnering with James Tompkins, so we're really set there. Which is awesome. Two great center backs, but behind them we don't have a lot of cover. Also, we have Collins, who's now 73. He's a good player, but he's already declining at age 30, which is really disappointing. We're going to hang on to him because he's still 73 overall, still has a good quality, but that said, he's not going to be around much longer. Obviously, Chambers, only 61 overall. Lascelles, if he's in the team, so we're going to try and get him into every cup game, a few Premier League games if we can, but I have him on the loan list to try and loan him out to get him to improve. O'Brien at this moment in time is our first choice left back. He's really pretty much the only left back option we have at this moment in time. That is our main area of concern that we want to bring in, is left back. Obviously, Joey O'Brien's a great player, great squad player, but he's not going to lead us into the top echelons of the Premier League. So that's something we really have to address, is left back. That's our primary, area. CDM, also, the only two CDMs we have in the club are Moncur and Diarra. Obviously, we want to sell Diarra off as quickly as possible. He's unhappy. He doesn't want to be at the club, which is fine. We'll get rid of him. But that said, we use Bradley in that CDM role anyways. Noble can also play CDM, so we're pretty set there. Diame can play CDM. So we have a lot of guys who aren't listed as CDMs but can play in that role. Even Carlson can play there as well. So we're really set in the holding midfielder position. That said, I do think we are weak in the center of midfield in terms of a depth standpoint. I don't think Diame is great. I think he's a good player. Obviously, we have Noble, we have Bradley, but aside from that, we don't have a ton of quality. Carlson, they're all solid players, but they're not great. They're not players that we can develop much further. They're kind of hitting their ceiling. Diame is pretty close to his ceiling. Same with Carlson, even Noble. So we would look to address that. Downing is 29, 77 overall, but he's retiring at the end of the season, which I can't believe. For a 29-year-old, he's just decided he doesn't want to play. Oh, excuse me. Exit out of the squad report there. We'll get right back into it. But he's decided he doesn't want to play anymore, and it's really, really disheartening to lose him, because he's a fantastic player. He really, at the end of the season, had found his form, so we don't want to lose him. But that's what we're going to need to look for some depth out on the wings with the loss of Downing. So we have Turgot, and then we get into the center midfield. We have Bradley, like I said, Mark Noble, all solid players. Bradley's fantastic. I think he's going to keep improving. Obviously, he's only 26. I think with a solid run on the team, he can go up maybe 78 or so. So Bradley's fantastic. But other than that, we have Collison. That's all we have in center midfield. And then left midfielders, we have Matt Jarvis, and that's it. So in terms of midfield, we don't have a ton. Obviously, Jarvis is unbelievable. Ravel Morrison's already improving. He's 77 overall at age 21. He's unbelievable. So he's a player that's huge for us right now. Obviously, we have Nolan still into the team, but he's 32 years old. He's starting to decline. He's going to be on our bench. He's going to be a huge role player for us, I think. Good leader, but that's he's not going to get in the team because we brought in this guy, Clement Grenier. Look at him. He's one up overall. He hasn't even started the season yet. 82 overall, the best player on our team at this point. Look at his technical ability. Greens, dark greens everywhere. He's just absolutely unbelievable. He's going to be our free kick taker. He's fantastic. Great to have him in the team. We hope to find a good slot for him. We have Lacazette, obviously, as a striker alongside Andy Carroll. They're both fantastic. Carroll's up to 80 overall now. His finishing, his heading accuracy, his shot power, his long shots are just unbelievable. His strength, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. He's a great player. So, obviously, he's huge for us in the team right now. Carlton Cole, we're going to try and sell him. He keeps asking us to sell him, so we're going to do it. Obviously, he's been a great servant to the club. Obviously, he's a long-serving player for West Ham United, but we're going to look to move him on. But that said, we're also short on strikers, so I think that's another area we have to address. Obviously, Maiga has just been horrible for us. He's not happy. He's not playing. So I actually list him in the short loan list to see if maybe we could get him out there, get him some playing time. I don't know. But that said, he's not huge for us, so we really have no other strikers. Obviously, we have McCallum, we have Whitehead. So a third striker would be huge for us to bring in. Someone that's just an option off the bench when we play two strikers up front, just to see what we can do there. So that's our squad report currently, and with that, we're going to move over to transfers to take a look at our short list that we have right now. Let me know. I definitely want to hear feedback on the short list and what you guys think. Fabian Schär. Obviously, I know we have Winston Reed and James Tompkins, but Schär, he's in the last 12 months of his contract. Definitely could be at a discounted price for us. He's come from Basel. I'm sure his value will be huge. But that said, he would be awesome to bring into the club. A huge center back addition. Might push someone like Tompkins back to our right off the bench, sort of a rotation position. But that would be more than fantastic for us to have someone like Tompkins be relegated to coming off the bench a lot of the time. Brooks, obviously 76 overall. We have all his stats from scouting him, and also you've seen him, or you will see him, I should say, in the United States squad in the World Cup. So he's a good player. His positioning's not great. That's sort of the issue I have with him, is I think he gets out of position a lot personally. So someone we could bring in. He's not valued at a ton, but he has a really good upside. I think 80 plus potential type player. So it'd be fantastic. Now, I talked about midfield, and here are a couple players I found. Obviously, young guys that people pick up a lot. I'm currently put my scouts out to go after him, but Will Hughes, great player from Derby County. Obviously, they did not make it up to the Premier League, so he would be someone that we could be interested in. Ward Prowse, obviously, he's on Southampton. Maybe even we can go for him for a loan deal and just see how he fits into the club, because he's a good young player, 19 years old. Maybe go for a season-long loan so we don't have to pay a fee for him this year. Obviously, we don't have a huge budget, but we get him into the club and see if he fits in with what we're trying to do here. McEachran obviously would be huge for us as well. We'll have to see, maybe a loan deal for him as well. Schmeichel, obviously, from Leicester. We'll just put an inquiry in to him, obviously, just to see. Obviously, he must have re-signed with Leicester because his contract was expiring. We're just going to inquire just to see how much he costs as a potential backup goalkeeper. Now, left back. This is what we're talking about. We have Ricardo Rodriguez. He has some fantastic attributes. He's a great player already. He's only 21, and he's just fantastic. He's got great speed, good stamina. Those are a huge thing. He has good technical attributes, which I really like. But interest shown by QPR, so it could be someone that, the money's driven up. Digne, a little bit younger, a little less class on him, but he's got great pace, good stamina. Those are two things we really need in our left back if he's going to stay in the club for us. Butner, obviously, someone with great ability, but not really sound positionally defensively, so we might not be bringing him in. Luke Shaw is who I would ideally want to be bringing in. Obviously, that's his value. They're going to want more. I would pay upwards of $10 million. Obviously, in real life, he's going to go for just an absolutely astounding sum of money. But I would love to bring him in. Let me know. Obviously, a ton of career modes bring him in. So let me know if you think I should or should not bring in Luke Shaw. He would be my first choice at the first player I'd make an offer for in this career mode. So we're going to inquire for it anyways, but let me know what you think. Obviously, he's just going to be a huge player, and I would love to bring him in. Sterling, just some pace out on the wing, someone we could maybe snatch from Liverpool, but he was huge for them last season, so I don't think they're going to be giving him up. Brian Carrasco, a young guy. I know he has unbelievable sprint speed. I'm pretty sure his sprint speed is somewhere in the 90s. It's just absolutely absurd. But he would be someone I would love to bring in, just because I know we're going to be losing Downing. We're going to need players out on the wings. So he'd be huge. Voland is someone that would be unbelievable, but he's going to be worth a ton of money. So it'd be tough to bring him in this transfer window if we bring in someone who's a little more expensive and we don't send anyone out for any money. Because we don't really have a ton of players that we want to sell that would be worth a ton of money. Obviously, if someone came in for a bid for Andy Carroll for a ridiculous sum of money, that would be something we might look at just for the money. We could bring in someone at a cheaper rate and also bring in a couple other players, but that's well in the future. We're not there at this point. I'm recording this live, literally haven't gone any further than where I'm at right now, so we shall see what things can bring to us. Obviously, Altidore would be someone a little bit cheaper. If I was talking about a scenario like that, that would be an Andy Carroll type player. He's at a relegated club now, so he's going to be wallowing in the championship. Be someone we could potentially bring up here if we need another player, maybe to replace Carlton Cole or Maiga. If we were to get rid of them, he would be huge to bring to the club. Danny Ings would be who I would ideally love to bring as a striker. He's in the last 12 months of his contract. I know he's got really good pace. He's a really good player, good positioning. He's got really good finishing ability. So he'd be someone I'd love to bring in. He's arguably the best striker in the championship right now. And with a contract expiring in 12 months, could come at a discount rate for us. So he's on my target list. Also, Anthony Marshall, obviously great young player, someone that we could bring in for the future. So that's what we have on the short list, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And let me know. I'd love to hear feedback on what you think in terms of transfers for this season, our philosophy, and what we should be doing. So thanks, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next episode, guys. Bye-bye.